people with that draft.
Yeah, right. Well, Dignitas will have a chance here to end the series as we go to game number 4. But Method, they have a chance to tie it up and give us game number 5. We are going to Battlefield of Eternity. Method elects to take first pick. Dignitas picks the battleground. BOE.
Yep, BOE taken now. All right, so
Not a Vikings map.
No, a bit more aggressive though in the way that it's being played in team fights, and it's actually, I mean, it's a map that Method likes too. It's not only that that Dignitas is pretty strong on it, but last week, for example, Method picked it actually. So they like to play on this map. It's a good team fight map for them.
Yeah.
And see what they can pull off here.
Something that they haven't pulled out in this entire series that they could pull off on this battleground. Medivh, wonderful on this battleground.
Yep.
Early line seals, if you have any dives coming your way, Polybomb can be just as great. And it's one that ADRD and this team in particular know how to play around.
I just felt that Dignitas was, with the picks that they had in the last one, really, really scary. And I'm happy to see it. Right now, the last weekend and this one have been amazing so far. This has probably been the most entertaining start into any phase of HGC that we've seen so far, and I'm enjoying every single second of it. But I want to know if there are a few more drafts that Dignitas is willing to show here, and we could see something happening on Battlefield of Eternity. It's a bit of a different map, bit of a different approach. But also, it's the first time that we now see Battlefield with Urel being available in the current live version. We've already seen her in the battleground, so let's see if Method are willing to pick her again, or if she even ends up getting banned at some point. I mean, this is traditionally a map where you would still go for Tracer ban, but yeah. You've seen some crazy changes.
This is a map before she got buffed that I actually did enjoy her on. Her ability to be a nuisance and be in front of your face is very Murden-like in terms of you can jump onto your opponent and say, you know what, stop damaging the Immortal and buy time for your team, which is something that Urel can do here. And of course, you want to have a top laner that can clear out waves. And now that she's been buffed to the point where she has that ability to clear out waves, I think she would be worthy of a first pick here for our teams.
Method definitely thinking about this one. Genji is being banned, and that leaves Tracer open and also Urel. So how is Dignitas going to react to it? In that setup, it's always a question for me, okay, if you have two heroes that are really contesting the first pick position, let's say, for example, you want either Tracer or Urel in this case, what Dignitas could also do is just simply ban something else and then pick up what's left.
Yeah. Which is always something that you don't mind doing. I'm kind of curious if they'd be willing to move in a Tracer here. I mean, it is a BOE, right?
Yep.
So it's a matter of what do you want to ban out, what do you want to keep away from your opponent, and they are thinking about it.
We haven't really seen any kind of focus on the Haka in this series, so the Globals have played like no role between these two teams yet. Which is, I mean, at least something to point out, considering that we have seen a huge priority on Globals from Fnatic, more so than any other team. But also, the Haka has still been one of the more, or like, high prioritized solo heroes, and in this series at least, that hasn't really been a factor. There's the Abathur ban, so now both are still available. Urel and Tracer are there. We've seen Abathur banned out on Battlefield in the past, and here that's true again. So what is Method going to walk away with? Are we going to see a Tracer composition? Is it going to be an early Urel? Or are they dropping something else here?
They can't give up Tracer over Urel, can they?
I mean, keep in mind also how high the priority on Muradin was so far. In every single game that we've seen from them, they have played Muradin. And, oh, Hanzo, duh.
Oh, duh. That guy's still a hero.
Yeah, that guy still exists. Kind of forgot about him.
So this is Tracer Malfurion, right?
We think I don't know anymore. You would think so, right?
Yeah. I will say the last couple of weeks have definitely challenged what I know about Heroes of the Storm. I
mean, it's really shaking up the meta, because at this point you could go into something around Tracer and Malfurion, but you could also make an argument for an earlier Urel pick. Yep. And once more, I really think that we're also going to see Muradin really high up in rotation here. And so far, Team Dignitas didn't get their hands on Muradin once, and JPL loves to play it. He's high in the meta right now, played a lot. And Method, if Dignitas doesn't take him now, Method is going to grab him.
I'm done guessing. Li Ming and Urel.
I mean, Urel really doesn't shock me too much, but Li Ming, again, with a super high priority here. For Method, I would still think that we're going to see Muradin from them again, because that has just been the go-to, and let me think about that for a second. Like, Muradin, are they going to go into something else? I mean, Bad Benny has been really focused. It's not only this series, it's like the entire series they played so far. Bad Benny has always tried to go for Muradin.
Yeah, game 1, game 2, and game 3. He's had him every single game.
I mean, they played Muradin literally every single time the hero was available, even against Granite Gaming. They had one game without Muradin, and that was when Granite Gaming picked Muradin away. So, good chance that we see Muradin once more. What did they flex into when Muradin was taken away? They actually took Tyrael as their front line. That was on Battlefield. That was the last game that we saw here from them.
Wasn't bad they lost it, right? No, they won that one because they had 3-0 over Granite.
Yeah, Malfurion is still an option for them. Could ban out Deckard if you want to... Don't think they're going to ban out the support, but that would be one thing you could throw up. Malfurion and Phoenix, they let Muradin go, okay. Which means that we're going to see AD RD on Hanzo. And Phoenix played by Nick again.
Yeah. So in terms of bans here for Team Dignitas, they could leave up the Muradin themselves here, ban out another hero that can be thrown on this battleground. You have Garrosh. If they were looking at last map and they want to make sure that they don't allow for a tank that's already been picked by Method, they could move into the Tyrael ban. But they could definitely make a play here to take Muradin themselves, and it's one that JPLX in this battleground, that is for sure.
I mean, I think they're going to pick Muradin. And now then you think about either banning out one of the frontliners or the side lane. And those are the two roles that Method still needs. So I'm currently just thinking about if... I think you just ban out a frontliner at this point. If they pick Muradin for themselves, still pick out a ban out a frontliner here. Last time they picked Tyrael, I don't think you have to get rid of that necessarily. Johanna would come to mind again.
Garrosh also pretty decent in this map too. So you're gonna ban Garrosh here. So Method, do they want to ban out Muradin? Do they want to ban out Deckard Cain? We can always go Karazim, so Dignitas is open. Just switching up if they need to.
I think banning a support at this point would be a little bit weird because you have not only Karazim, but also they do it actually. They ban out Deckard, okay.
They challenge.
I would have expected them to ban frontline or second damage dealer, but yeah, banning out Deckard. I mean, we talked about how after Malfurion, it really seems that Zelia has taken a liking to Deckard Cain and does extremely well with him. I just didn't think that would warrant a ban at this point because we're now having also, as we've seen in the previous series, Rhaegar starting to push a little bit into the meta again. So now you have Karazim available, you can still go into Rhaegar, depending on your composition and what you're trying to run. You can still run Uther as well, not quite as likely, but it's not like you have a huge amount of options at this point.
I think I like Kira a little more because it's helpful against Phoenix, but you get to be careful of the roots, which will be annoying. Rhaegar will give you a cleanse to be able to help that if you have to make a situation work out for you.
But Karazim makes sense, and I mean that's the one that they played more in the past. The question is just, do the changes on Rhaegar all of a sudden set him higher, in your opinion? We had teams in Europe before that already started to play Rhaegar quite a bit, so for them, of course, it's now even more attractive. But Dignitas, yeah, Karazim, again, makes sense. We've seen him already played against Phoenix. We've highlighted that in the Tomb game that we saw earlier. That makes sense for Karazim to just try and chase them down. Muradin, talked about him like long enough. That doesn't come as a surprise at all. Finally, JPL gets his hands on him again. And that leaves us with a second damage dealer for Dignitas. Whereas Method now needs to round that draft out, and frontline Johanna is still attractive here. With other setups, I would have said you can also go into a Nubarak setup, but yeah, side lane, what are you going to see there? We're going up against Urel.
Could they put Phoenix up there instead?
I don't think so. I mean, you could. Phoenix definitely has what it takes to be a solo laner, but I just don't think... I think they're going to draft another melee. I would be surprised if they didn't.
Stitches could work here too if they needed to. They go back to Tyrael.
And the Blaze. Tyrael Blaze was the setup that we saw most of the time at the first Western Clash in 2018. It was actually incredibly powerful, and that was a tool where you have a lot of layer defenses. You have Bunker available, and then you have also the Sanctification. You have shields that Tyrael provides to the composition as well. And that was something that Dignitas in particular was extremely successful against Zealots when they played against them. So Tyrael Blaze, if not contested, was in nearly every game towards the final stages of the playoffs at the Western Clash one of the go-to combos for teams.
It got to a point where it was a 1-2, actually, at the Western Clash.
Yeah, all the time. Super high up in priority.
Final pickup here for Team Dignitas, needing a little bit more damage here. Is this where we get the Greymane? Lunara? Tyrael diving is a little bit scary, so it's on the poke.
Not really sold on the Greymane, to be honest. Against Tyrael and Blaze, especially with Sanctification. If you go, okay. Drafts today have been curious to me. It's not quite what I would have expected them to pick. I mean, you have the squishies on the other side, and we've seen Greymane picked against Hanzo. It's just if you go against the Sanctification.
Yeah, in the Blaze.
But then again, to be fair, what I didn't consider is I kind of didn't really think about the map too much, and Greymane is still super good on just bursting down the objective. You have Li Ming for the range poke, and if Greymane gets on it, we can race him down there, so their race potential increased by a lot. I actually didn't think about that. For some reason, the map slipped my mind, yeah. So.
And you have a little bit of dive able. You can go for that heal, or even the armor. Gosh, Worgen form plus armor from Yrel at level 4 could give you a little bit more control, chasing down a target. What do you like?
Yrel and Greymane as a combo is actually interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like it'd be weird, but it works.
With Greymane, we oftentimes talk about, okay, you want to dive in, right? Like, that's one of the reasons why, for example, for a long time, a setup with Nubarak was so appealing, because Nubarak made the engage happen, and then everybody started diving in with him.
Yeah.
That's why we saw in the past Illidan Tyrael compositions, or Tyrael and Greymane, same thing. And now we have Yrel with that. It's kind of fun setup what we have. Dignitas is in the lead. They have a 2-1 against their opponent. We're going to see if they can make that a 3-1 victory. Wooby starting on Yrel for the team. We have Snitch on Greymane. We see Poig on Li Ming, JPL on Muradin for the first time in the series, since the hero's what's denied to him several times now. And Zelia on Karazim.
On the right side, in the red, Ethereal playing Blaze, ADRD will be on the Arrow Boy, Curson on Malfurion, and Bad Benny on Tyrael, and Nick to play Phoenix. The scatter arrows, always strong on this map. Hanzo falling off a little bit in drafts, but not on this map, that is for sure.
It was so funny when they first picked him, because I honestly, he didn't even cross my mind. With the entire shift in priority and us being so focused also on Yrel, since she's now for the first kill against Bad Benny. That was a quick one. Nice trap by Dignitas, really well set up here. Definitely something he didn't see coming, and he got immediately punished for that move. So great idea here by Dignitas. But yeah, Hanzo, of course, is one of the heroes that should always be on your mind when you talk of Battlefield Eternity. But with us now being a bit focused on Yrel, since she just has gone through these changes, and us now being on the live patch, it was a hero that even didn't cross my mind for a second when we were looking at the map. So it was really funny, because normally it's the first hero that comes to mind when you think Battlefield Eternity.
That's for sure. Kind of that Maiev factor that we're used to, right? Where Maiev always this hero that occasionally pops up, and when she works, she works. We do have the Mercs at the top being grabbed. Greymane and Karazim can grab those. Greymane, again, this is something that we will talk about when you do have Greymane in your map or on your team. You need to buy space for him so he's able to work on those Merc camps. But meanwhile, Method is take the Merc camp to the south here. I'll have that pushing in while team at Dignitas attempts to put a little bit of pressure here on the top.
Everybody's just jumping around. Snitch already jumping into the Worgen form towards the front, and you have Yrel following it up.
Jumps of the storm.
Jumps of the storm, that's pretty much what it is. So the early game kill against Bad Benny is pretty inconsequential in the bigger scheme of things, just simply because the experience lead that you gain is very, very small. Very unlikely that it's going to matter too much, and it's also with low death timers not a huge impact onto the laning phase as is. But of course, it's from a motivational perspective already a bit annoying if you just move out onto the map and the first thing that happens is you're getting taken out.
Yeah.
So right now we're going to see Dignitas try and make those rotations happen again, and especially the camp clear is going to be something that they are looking towards, especially with this one already set up. We even have a bit of poke happening towards the right side, so I really like that Dignitas is very active on the map, not only taking their own camp, but I don't want to say contest the one at the top here, but this is a really nice invade, because if Method would have only sent 1 or 2 heroes, Dignitas would have actually pounced on that opportunity.
Looking really threatening here, decided to peel away. Method will have that pushing in the top lane. Dignitas has already cleared out their camp, so they can get that pushing in the bottom soon.
Adjustment here also in builds. We have Sledgehammer now taken on level 4 for Muradin. So this is typical BOE. You don't see it that much, even on Battlefield of Eternity, but if you see Sledgehammer, the extra 300% damage to non-heroic enemies that includes Immortals, then on Battlefield. This is the one map where you get a lot of value if you decide to go for it, but you give up a lot of survivability since you are missing out on the synergy between your level 4 and your level 13 talent, the healing stat.
Method actually coming up to contest the fight while Hanzo has to clear out the bottom lane. Team Dignitas should spot that pretty soon here and should be able to turn around. Sledgehammer keeps continuously coming out against that Immortal, and they're chunking it pretty fairly. especially with Li Ming on the top here. She can start to come on a point. Wubby just goes straight in for Nick, though, buying as much time as he can. He is currently in a 3v1 and still doing fine. He has Zelia here on the side to help him out, as Wubby jumps away.
Ridiculous. 50% HP on the Immortal, and Method, even though they chased Urel with 3 heroes, were barely able to get her to 50% HP. Wubby still needs to be careful since ADRD was just following us up with as much damage as he could muster, but still, it's time to defend as Method is trying to hold on to the first objective. They only sent Nick to the right side, and he is trying to get at least some counter pressure going, but Dignitas is about to move in.
They are. They jump over. You even see the Stormbolt coming out. The call has been made to focus it down. Karazim even bringing a couple punches out. Zelia getting focused, needs to dash away. Greymane jumps in straight to the Immortal, and Dignitas will be able to grab it. The Method, they want to find a kill if they can. They chase Snitch. He's trying to dash out. Point comes over for a combo. No heal being available means that Snitch will fall.
Yeah, that was an important one. Getting the kill here is great, because now they will get some extra time to start clearing the Immortal. Now, death timers are still super low, so Greymane can definitely join the fun here, but as you can tell, it's going to take him a while to go up to the top lane. So Dignitas is rotating down to create pressure on 2 lanes and make sure that they get at least a few towers out of it.
Now, we talked about Sledgehammer being great against the Immortals, also pretty good against turrets. Sniping down that turret in the south, putting some damage on it without Li Ming helping out. Wubby is just one-manning the show up here. And Zelia to help him out on the side, but pushing on the Immortal and trying to prevent Method from putting too much damage on it. Gets both turrets, and we have 7 to 6.5 in favor of Dignitas.
Yeah, Dignitas with a half-level lead now. So the early level 7 for them, and that brings Calamity online. Yeah, Wubby is going to be safe there, and of course he has the Divine Steed. The Divine Pig. Wubby has chosen the Divine Pig on level 13, on level 7.
It's a holy pig. Its tail is curled 4 times, where a normal pig is only curled twice.
Oh yeah, you know it.
The Divine Pig will carry Wubby to victory here.
Point, point.
Indeed.
This is fantastic. I like it. This is a huge opportunity that Blizzard missed here. I should name all talents.
You should.
Yeah, that would be fantastic at it.
I don't think so, actually. Only has a job cut out for you, man.
I think it would be great.
I think they should let you name 1 talent, tops.
Okay, Divine Pig it is.
Or they should name a talent after you. That's what they should do.
The glare.
Like, name Karazim's ability, Caldor's biceps or something, right? And it gets like 20 extra damage or something. That'd be cool. Nice level 20. I'd use it. Just for you.
The Dome of Wisdom.
The Dome Can we name Tassidar's Oracle that instead?
I'm just ripping here, I have no clue. I mean, Dignitas with 8.5.
Dome of Wisdom.
I was trying to go for something with Claire, I couldn't come up with a name, so it's just like going for that. Like, I don't know, his shiny baldness, I don't know, like, you come up with something.
Oh, you're going too far. Dome of Wisdom is the cream of the crop.
I want the Divine Pig, I'm happy with that. We want an objective now, I want to fight, because after the last Immortal, the only thing that both of the teams did is basically just try and soak the lane.
Yep.
And Dignitas, of course, has hopes to get level 10 during the objective phase. That's the goal right now. But they are taking their camp, and that's something that Method doesn't even do. A bit late on that rotation. Method really needs to try and end this Immortal phase before Dignitas hits 10, or at least get some damage on, because once the Dignitas reaches heroic abilities, Method will have to back off, and that's going to hurt. And now, okay, they're taking their own camp here, a little bit delayed, with AD already moving in at the side and Nick helping out over the wall. Still a bit iffy for them, and it puts AD in a spot where he's entering the entire team fight here, only being at 60% HP, and Kirsten has to make sure that he tops him off first.
This is such a catch-22 with this Muradin build. First off, you want to make sure the Sledgehammers aren't connecting with the Immortal and chunking it down. So what do? You have to body block it, right? So you're actually building into their damage there on that level 1 by allowing those shots to connect with you, because you don't want your Immortal to get bodied. Such a weird build to deal with. Hang on, Zelia, though, having to deal with the scatter arrows.
Yeah, but keep in mind that it's also a build where later on you are a lot more vulnerable to burst, and that could become a problem. But if Dignitas rolls with it early on in the game, that doesn't matter, and that's one of the ideas that you still have with this, because you have so much burst now around Greymane, around the build that we see with Muradin on this. Then you have Karazim and Li Ming, they're just racing this. They have the early level 10, so they can easily do that, and now they're not really in trouble as JPL starts to go deep. But he still needs to be careful. He's running out of mana, and he has that survivability problem. But Bad Benny is getting chased by 4, and that is just not happening.
Yeah, Bad Benny went for a flank on the back line, trying to get them low, but Dignitas just turns around and focuses them down. If Hero comes in, though, gets a pretty big jet propulsion off. The absorbing damage coming from Wubby, he'll get healed up slightly, but JPL, as you mentioned, is low on mana, and that was a big area effect attack from Nick.
It definitely was, and Dignitas in this case can be also quite happy about their opponent not having level 10, because Method with 10 could have shreked that fight. So that was scary for a second. There's the 10 now. The problem still remains. Dignitas has the Immortal of Method already down to 25%. So can you defend here? Can you make a play happen? Maybe with a good arrow on the side of Hanzo, but you need to do something here.
Arrow comes out. It will connect with Zelia. Zelia begins to get focused down. He drops 7-sided strike here to make sure he doesn't get hit, and he's able to dash out of the root as he jumps to a minion.
That was 2 ults burned on him, and they didn't even get the kill. That's a bad start into this. Dignitas is about to claim the objective. Wubby, on the other hand, might fall. The stun is there, the root is good, and down Urel goes. The goat is dead, and that allows Method to defend again. They're even trying to pick up another kill here against JPL.
Chasing him down. He should have a jump up pretty soon here. Boyk's teaching away at the side. He puts some damage on Aetherial while Stitch goes in and harasses a little bit. But as you mentioned, the Immortal has gone over to Dignitas. In about 7 seconds, Urel will be back on the field. Dig last time that they lost somebody, just went for a counter push, but here they're actually going for some counter aggression as they chase down Curson.
Yeah, that one is going to hurt it a little bit more. And now JPL is looking again for a Stormbolt setup. And I mean, talking about the Stormbolts, he's sitting at 18 stacks for his quest now, 15 stacks for his level 1 quest. Aetherial needs to move out of this one, but still, Method is holding on to this. They're still a level behind, and they're losing the fort, but they will not lose a keep here, and that is actually pivotal.
But they will lose double forts. Greymane.
Yeah,
Runs
Greymane
to the bottom, clears it out already.
Greymane can just wreck structures way too fast, and he actually attacked that fort already earlier together with Karazim, where they were rotating in and trying to create some extra pressure points that Method had to deal with. The macro game of Dignitas in general has been fantastic throughout the entire series.
We have an arrow here from Hanzo. Method looking to force a fight, but they can't quite get it. Dignitas is able to sneak away. JPL lurking around the side, trying to get a Stormbolt for an extra stack or two, but Dignitas starts to back up, and we're at 20 stacks for JPL.
Yeah, on his main quest, 17 on the Perfect Storm. That is a fair amount of extra damage. The one thing is really that towards the late game, if you go into Sledgehammer after Perfect Storm, you can really burn down any structure or the Immortal as well, because those two have, of course, synergy. So right now he's sitting at 75 extra damage, 85 extra damage, sorry. And we have with Sledgehammer another 350% on top of that. So it really starts to add up if you are able to do that. So Dignitas is going to have a super easy time later on to raise an Immortal if they ever end up in a race scenario. Since they have Greymane, who already packs a punch against it. Then they have Karazim and the Stormbolts that are coming out.
Looking over to Method. Just trying to buy some time here in sub 13 as they're a level away. With a big wave in the top, Phoenix will be able to clear that out. But Dignitas sees Phoenix in the top, and they siege away. They're helping out with the Merc camps, taking down these turrets, opening up the map too, which means this next Immortal phase, they're able to grab it and start looking towards taking down a keep.
Yeah, but now we're having Method about to hit level 13. They need half a level. And that's something that you should actually get around the time that the second Immortal is coming onto the map. So they might lose out on the start, but they should be in a spot where they can fight on 13 versus 13 talents. And that's the best time for Method to really start and trying to get back into this. In terms of kills, it's even. It's just the objective that was controlled so well by Dignitas. And to be fair, with them being a level behind, if they win an Immortal, they could actually start turning this around.
Yeah, they certainly could. Especially with them breaking down some forts and jumping experience. They could even take a lead in this game of experience.
They just need that 13, and it's still too far away. They might have to give up the halftime show.
A more traditional set up here as Team Dignitas puts 4 on the opposing Immortal. Try and defend it while Snitch on Greymane attempt to clear up the Immortal. Now they take a small lead actually in the Immortal race as Method was able to answer back themselves.
Yeah, this is the moment when you want to have your 13, and they don't rotate anyone in. Phoenix is actually moving to the bot lane now, so he's going to get that extra talent for them. Now it's time to see if he can set up a fight here. JPL with another Stormbolt against the Immortal, but now you have your 13 talents. That's the Ice Block on Malfurion in particular that really keeps him alive for so much longer, and they're already looking to see if they can maybe get a stun set up against someone here, especially with the Fuel League also being in right now. Once you engage, you really start slowing everyone on the opponent's side, and they're pushing this slowly back.
They are. Blaze leading. Happening right behind him. Nick finds Wubby, gets some damage on him. He puts a little bit of damage on the Immortal.
And now it's the Hanzo show. And Aetherial has actually really good poke against the Immortal with Blaze as well.
Stormbolt comes out though, puts some damage on the Thero. Dignitas doing what they can here. Finally, they find Nick on the back right as well. He goes in for the charge, goes in the knockback as well. The arrow comes out to buy him some time. Bunker being used at the same time.
Poik
trying to retreat here while Sync gets used, but Poik, he falls. Snitch is trying to put some damage on the back right, but Method are able to get a kill.
Yeah, and a good one at that. Taking Li Ming out is fantastic for them. No resets for Dignitas here, and that's a 5 versus 4 now. They're trying to get a bit more done as well, but we have an attempt of Dignitas to see if they can maybe even sneak a bit more mortal damage. Ethereal is a bit alone down here. 7-sided comes out, and he goes down. The salvo is connecting, but it's not enough damage yet. Kirsten comes in, though. Whoopi is about to fall. He goes down, and everybody else is just on the run here. ADRD is attempting to chase them down with the rest of them. The Immortal has already been claimed by Method, and now they're trying to just simply get more kills here. ADRD is going for Zelia, trying to connect them. Zelia juking them out, gets the quick dash in. No Malfurion follow-up, and now Method needs to try and get at least value in structures as they're closing that experience.
They get the Immortal, though, and that will allow them to grab said structures. First turret goes down, there's a gate, second one afterwards. JPL has just respawned as well as Poik, so they get here to set up that first layer of defense. And with the shields already expiring, Method will have a hard time to push this further than the fort. Maybe they can get a keep turret, but Team Dignitas is actually holding pretty well. Oh, they might actually get more than a keep turret.
Yeah, and the experience gap is closed now. Method, with those structures eliminated, has now started to make sure that they might even get ahead here if they can take another turret. Benny eats a lot of damage here. Whoopi jumps in, but ADRD is ready and immediately answers in kind. That's a nice damage output that we're seeing. Whoopi barely getting away. One tower down, breaking through the wall, trying to break the second one as well, getting a bit closer to 16 here. Method looking strong.
Grabbing 2 extra turrets here and the gate, so they open up that bottom lane. Should be able to play for keeps later on. And they also tie up an experience. 16 is around the corner for both of them here, as Yrel soaks the top lane and Method pulls away.
And now we're coming back to the point that we made earlier. Survivability is low on Muradin because he doesn't have the second Thunderclap through his level 4 talent. And that's why now we have him adjusting his 16 too. We've seen a lot of Dwarf Launch being used here to try and get the better engage. But now Muradin going into Stone form here to make up for him missing out on the level 4 to level 13 synergy with the healing static. So these small adjustments are super important in the setup now.
Method, with them being even though, stands up on the map here and looks to make some more plays. Already clearing up the top lane, putting themselves in a spot where they can try and force a fight on Team Dignitas. Yrel buying as much time as they can.
Muradin coming in from the flank.
Ooh, yeah, he's looking for it. Wants to land that Stormbolt. Here comes JPL. Should be able to jump in soon. Nick is a prime target, and so is Curson.
JPL needs to be careful. He goes for the Avatar. Nick is being attacked here, but JPL is really deep. He needs to be cautious because the bunker is already putting him into a weird spot. Here comes the salvo. Silence is out as well. The cleansing touch is keeping him alive, though, and we are seeing Phoenix fall as Dignitas is trying to follow it up with a second kill. They're going deep, but Yrel! Whoopi! Whoopi is about to die here. It's a 2-for-1 trade, though, since Blaze has already been eliminated too.
Dignitas doesn't need to chase, though. An Immortal spawns in about 12 seconds. All they have to do is keep Method at bay, keep him in this corner, and they do so as they head over and drop a Stormbolt, even thinking about maybe grabbing this Bruiser camp. They decide against it. Use the time window they have here to put some damage on the Immortal, and they have a good 20 seconds before Phoenix and Blaze are back on the map.
It's a good camp to take now because there's no camp for Dignitas yet. So they're trying to contest this a bit. Halftime show has already been reached. Fantastic job by Dignitas. And it just shows again how quickly they can burn this down with Muradin, with Poik, and with Snitch. Bad Benny gets stunned. Okay, Curson comes in with the Nature's Cure, making sure that he removes the stun. But now we have a 5-on-5 on our hands. And again, very even. 5 kills versus 5, nearly the same amount of experience. Dignitas slightly ahead. But this is another big team fight.
Defensive spawns for our team, though. Method able to step up and play the slow game here.
It's Hanzo time at this point.
Yeah, he just sieges away. Will be trying to buy some time, too. Poik putting some damage on that front line if he can, trying to go for a Thero in particular. The moment anything gets hairy, Method can back up due to that holy ground being available, as well as a root from Curson.
And Yrel had to go to the top lane because the camp is already threatening the fort. Blaze doing the same thing at the bottom, so both of the teams splitting one off to deal with that situation. Heroic abilities are all up again with the exception of Sanctification.
A dance with wolves here. Zelia lingering in the corner, setting up for that cleanse, making sure that if a Dragon's Arrow comes out, he can instantly save a teammate, but not get caught himself.
Hanzo vision is so important now to just like scout out where Dignitas is going to try and approach. But we already have the attempt to collapse down here onto Phoenix, and Blaze didn't quite work out, but it forced Ethereal to drop Bunker. And that cooldown, as we mentioned before, got increased. So now they have to wait for another 40 seconds until it's back.
40 seconds will be back. 5 seconds. We'll be able to have Dignitas have all their heroics available.
And Dignitas didn't use anything for that. They just collapsed onto Ethereal.
Method still trying to siege away. ADRD, watch him, man. Working in those scatter arrows. Landing a couple shots here and there. No opportunity opening for Dignitas to move in. JPL wants to find something. Would prefer to have a Stormbolt on the Immortal. Method body blocking as best they can. Will be coming around from the side here. Allows for Li Ming to keep sieging away. And slowly but surely, they attempt to tick away at the Immortal Method.
Bunker's back though. And we still have everything else ready. Bad Benny is going a bit deep here. He's trying to see if they can engage on something. And they're starting to jump onto Muradin. Immediately the Avatar comes out. And they're trying to force the fight here. Method is already losing. The Snitch is low. Here comes the Sanctification. And the Salvo should complete the kill. And that's the case.
The Salvo gets it. Salian will be on the right side. Bad Benny's low on health. If Li Ming can find a pick, that'd be great for them, but they can't get it. Method now has the opportunity to shred this Immortal, and they step up. ADRD has to use the natural agility to get away from JPL, who's holding that front line the best that he can. 30 seconds until Greymane is back on the field. Dignitas trying to hold.
Yeah, and Bad Benny is going in deep. They're trying to go for it right now. Even if they trade him for another kill, that would be great for them. Here comes the silence. They go for JPL, and they get the kill. He is down. Wooby jumps in, tries to turn it around here. Benny is low, but even if he falls, it will be fine. Curse, on the other hand, is a different story, but the counter kill gets Karasim as Malfurion falls. Urel dies as well, and that is a bad spot for Dignitas to be in. They won't be able to grab the Immortal here. Method is walking away with a lead in experience and with another objective secured.
Hoik trying to get a kill on ADRD, barely misses out on some of those magical missiles. The Bad Benny and ADRD are low on health and will have to back up and heal. There is a fort in the way in the top left, so Dignitas should have some time here to buy a defense. The stuns were so much from Method that Karasim didn't even have a chance to use 7-sided strike.
Hoik nearly became a hero here. If he gets the resets and can maybe get 2 kills, one against Bad Benny and the other one against Hanzo, it would have been great. Hanzo actually jumping a few times out of harm's way here, as we saw him earlier. More or less locked into a stun lock. If Muradin connects the Stormbolt as he's in the stun circle, he would have probably fallen, but the agility is allowing him to get away from it. Now the Immortal is left at the top because Method is actually starting to focus a bit down to the bot lane and forcing Dignitas to defend there. But the big story is experience, because Method, through the structures, have now taken a massive lead in XP, and they claim level 20. And if they can use that to grab another Immortal, that would be great. It's unlikely that they can get keep here, but they're going to try and put some damage onto the bot lane and maybe even commit to it.
Obi will sit here and try to prevent them from doing too much, but without having Ardent Defender available, can't really force a fight, needs the rest of his teammates, so there they are. 19 hits for Team Dignitas, but still level away. Hanzo just puts some damage on Puik on the back line, the scatter arrows shredding her.
Yeah, they are actually starting to siege away at this keep. They have the level 20 and they can continuously poke with not only Hanzo, but again, Ethereal is also doing a lot of work. No matter where he pokes, if it's the Immortal or the keep, it doesn't matter. But as long as they have the level 20 ability, Dignitas is not going to be willing to move out of the keep range and really force them into a fight on the open range. So this is great. Method is waiting for their own minion wave and then they commit. They're going to get this for sure.
Team Dignitas is spread out though.
Uh-oh.
Oh, hang on. JPL takes some damage. Yeah, the silence is too long. He pops the Avatar at the right time. 7-sided strike comes out. So does the Bunker as well. Method unable to get a kill. JPL barely surviving. While Snitch in the top lane grabs the Merc Camp and gets that pushing in.
Muradin literally just got saved because Ethereal could not connect the jet propulsion. The jet propulsion just stopped short of Muradin. He was just outside of the range. If that stun connects, Muradin is down. But JPL is able to escape. There's a lot of heroics that got dropped there. But cooldown on both sides, and they should be ready for the next objective. Immortal is spawning in 25 seconds. Cam taken. 20 is there, Dignitas will have it too, but the bot lane is now continuously going to push against Dignitas support.
And this is going to be the final Immortal phase between either team here. Method looking to get to game number 5. Team Dignitas hoping to secure the win in this series. They have a lead at 2-1. Method preps the top lane as they grab the Merc Camp to get that pushing in, while Team Dignitas floats around the Immortals, hoping to get an early start in the race.
Now, we've talked a lot about layer defenses, but now we have Defense of the Angels on Tyrael taken as well, and we're seeing the Unconquered Spirit. So it's going to be a lot more difficult for Dignitas to take anyone down on the side of Method here. So that's great for them. The sustainability has just increased by a lot.
Holy Ground, a powerful tool here for Bad Benny. If they can lock off anyone from Team Dignitas, where they can try and get those kills.
These Stormbolts are actually becoming ridiculous. JPL is 38 stacks. That's not a ton. but together with his Sledgehammer, it's definitely enough to take huge chunks away from the Immortal.
Halftime show. And Dig doesn't even respond to the camp in the top left. Method can play this slow, and they may do so. Immediate siege. JPL putting some damage on that Immortal. Wubby on the right side, trying to buy some time, pulling Nick over towards him. Nick wanting the chase here, even getting the slow on top of Wubby.
Yeah, they're already starting to put some pressure on, but you're right, they need to defend and they need to take a fight. The camp at the top lane is eventually even going to get the keep if they're lucky. The problem is, that's a stun, okay, Nature's Cure comes out. The big problem is that I think eventually you will have to really take a fight here. Taking the keep is not alone. If you lose the fight afterwards, then you're still going to lose the game.
Both teams on the opposite side of their map, by the way, to defend these Immortals.
Wubby's coming in from behind. He's actually trying to flank there.
Yeah, he really is. Repulsion's been pretty big here. That pickup for Li-Ming at level 20.
Wubby is actually defending top lane now.
He has to. He goes up there, so
they have to go.
out.
They need to do something here, I feel. Now that they have a 5 versus 4, they need to push this back or at least do some Immortal damage. They need to get some value out of Wubby moving to the top. And Wubby was actually forced to move back. He took down most of it, but the problem is the keep is still very likely to maybe not fall, but at least take damage if nobody reacts to it. Arrow comes in, and it's a double hit. They're going for it, but a great move here once again with the cleansing touch by Karazim.
Azalea able to get 2 cleanses out right away. Nick remounting again, coming back. The Immortal race in favor of Team Dignitas. Method continues to poke away, though. ADRD being in the middle of the lane can drop down those arrows. He doesn't know where Yrel is at, though, so he's playing careful, playing it slow, playing it safe.
Stormbolt, again, like no one eats the Stormbolt, so that does so much damage. And ADRD, as you said, is now going to try and get some as well. Nice move by Li-Ming here, actually creating the space so that the combo goes through. They're going again for the Immortal, and it looks very likely that Dignitas is going to walk away with this one. The fight, on the other hand, is that going to work in their favor? Azalea is in trouble and barely able to move out.
Holy Ground, though, comes off, and Salvo pops off too. 7-star strike is used, so Azalea can stay alive, but he kites out. Li-Ming has been picked off. Wubby goes straight for the Immortal to clear it up, but Method's going straight for the core.
They're going for the core. They have the kill, and they're saying Li-Ming is down. They don't get the resets. We can go in. Even if we lose a hero or two, there's no resets. They can't stop us here. They're going for it. They feel that they have to. The bunker is already on the ground, and they're looking to maybe even get a kill here, but this is starting to get a bit iffy. I'm not quite sure if they can pull that off. ADRD is already low and backed into a corner. Wubby is trying to get him, and he takes him down. Hanzo falls, and the core still has all of its shields left.
All of them, and JPL can chase here too. He'll be able to jump up pretty soon and drop down the Stormbolt, but they don't even have to chase. The Immortal's pushing in that top right corner, moving in for that keep. Team Dignitas wants to make sure that Method does not mount up or even Hearthstone home. All 4 continue to scurry away. Curson will have a root up pretty soon to help out. Theo turns around and goes straight for Snitch. Snitch is going to get picked off here. Wait a minute, a shield comes out. He's able to hold on. Tyrael unable to get the kill, and Snitch lives.
Snitch lives somehow, and we have the kill against Tyrael here. Once more, Nick barely moving out. The Immortal, in the meantime, is moving through the top lane and taking down the keep. But if Method only loses a keep, they will call that a win, I think.
That they would. The Immortal is down, taking a little bit of health already. The shields are completely expired. Nick gets caught out, though, as he's trying to Hearthstone back. Salvo comes out to try and buy him some time, but here comes Zelia to deliver a couple of punches. Meanwhile, the Immortal has made its way to the core, and Wubby is on his way.
Yeah, Wubby is on his way. The rest is chasing Phoenix right now, but this is going to get so close. Nick surviving for now, but Poi completes the kill. The core is losing hit points. 50% arrow shot across the map here. The minions, the catapults moving through, but it's not enough. Dignitas will clean this out. We have Method losing game number 4 as Dignitas claims a 3-1 victory over Method on Battlefield of Eternity.
What an ending, though. Method going for the kill, realizing, okay, this Immortal is going to be a little bit too much for us to defend, even with a 5v4 in our favor. Possibly going for the core is our best chance here. Dignitas with the patience at the end to make sure to control in that corner, also clearing out the bunker as quickly as they could. Were able to get the 3-1, but still, Method, I feel like, showed up today. Sure, Towers of Doom, bit of a letdown there, but of course that was composition-based. All 4 games were looking pretty darn strong.
Definitely, but I still can't help myself and feel that the go for the core was a bit of a Monka S moment there.
Yeah, it was aggressive.
I mean, it's Li-Ming that fell, so that's understandable, but at the same time, you're still going up against the Grey main.
Yeah.
That alone has the damage output already. Yrel is such a annoying force. Even if you don't get the kill with Yrel.
She's slowing you, knocking you back.
Exactly, she's slowing you back. You can't really commit. And if you think about race potential against the core, the biggest argument that you can maybe make in favor of Method is that they had Tyrael with Sanctification.
Yeah.
But if I'm not mistaken, Sanctification was on cooldown at the time. So the only thing that you rely upon is the explosion of Tyrael. So I don't really think they had it there. I actually feel if they just go and defend the Immortal, which I think they could have done, they could have maybe even saved the keep. And even if the keep falls, it's still 1 keep on each side. So It's a tough call to make. They tried to end it there, but it just didn't work out.
To be fair, on the other side of that argument is you do have a gray main on the opposing side with Dignitas, even if it is a 4v5 running in towards you. If that mortal is on the core and you can't really capture gray main, he will shred your core. So maybe that was your thought process. Definitely a little bit of a hard decision to make, and obviously the one they did make did not work out for them as they would defend it pretty darn easily. So we have a 3-1 victory for Dignitas. Method has a big loss this weekend for them, but don't worry, we'll see more of them on Sunday as they'll be facing off against Fnatic, which is equally a match that they have to earn a win in.
And after what we've seen from Method today, I have to say that Fnatic really has to step it up if they want to take down Method, because Method looked strong today. They took the first map of Dignitas, and I feel they could have taken more than only one map of them. Dignitas still looking extremely powerful here, but Fnatic definitely striking slightly in the first series of the day. So yeah, that match between Fnatic and Method on Sunday is going to be extremely important, and whoever wins there is going to have a decent situation or a decent position for the Western Clash.
Yeah, it's not a 1-to-1 sample size, but Method was able to shut down Granite Gaming pretty aggressively last week, and today Fnatic seemed to struggle with them a little bit in their matchup. So we'll watch out for that on Sunday. But for now, back over to Dignitas, who gets a big win today, a 3-1 victory over Method. We have Snitch here once again, smiling and beaming as usual. A bit of an odd ending there as you guys had to defend against Method pushing in. Do you think their core race was a little bit optimistic?
Yeah, I think maybe they just felt pressured because of the way the series had gone, that they were in they were finally in a controlling position, and maybe they felt like this is our moment to close out the game, you know? So I think I understand why they went for it, and if a little, a few things had gone better, I think they definitely could have found kills and found the game, but we played pretty safe, we managed to not die, and then, yeah, we managed to just hold them off.
What happened in game number 1 for you guys, the one loss you had this series?
I mean, we're the slow ramp-up team, apparently. We're really trying to shake this off, but it seems to keep haunting us, where we're just stuck losing the first game. I personally think we played a little bit passive. I think we talked about it straight after. I think we're playing a little bit too hesitant. We're not taking the fights that we want. We're giving them too much space, and I think the rest of the games kind of reflected that. We were a lot more confident taking engages, and yeah, I think this first game, the draft didn't super go our way, and it was just a little bit uncomfortable.
Awesome. Well, over to Caldor.
Talking about drafts, talk to me about the Vikings. What happened? Did Team Liquid take over
Yeah, what was
for a
that?
few seconds, or what's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Lord Hasselhoff has descended upon us once again in his glorious specialist meta. Honestly, we saw the Liquid game, and it looked very, very clean. And I think immediately, me and Wibby and I think Zalia started talking about, oh, does Vikings actually make sense in this meta? Is this an answer to this kind of Abathur plague that's slowly spreading across the HGC of Europe?
Too many slugs.
And it seemed like a good... Yeah, way too many slugs. One is too many.
All right, so Vikings at the pest control?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. You just call in, I need a pest control Viking skin, ASAP Blizzard, get on that. Just, little, Eric can have a net or something, there's definitely a skin there.
It's actually planned.
But yeah, it just seems like...
It's going to come in after the genital Leoric thing.
Oh, yeah, that's like a tied together thing. They could all be part of the same company.
It's a bundle.
Nice. But yeah, it just seems like a good answer to the way Abathur is. Obviously, it helps you keep up with the soak. And yeah, it just looked good that game, so we went with it.
Outside of that, we've seen a ton of URL being played already. What do you think about the hero at this point in the current live version? We're talking a bit how sometimes when a hero is either buffed or when he comes into the game, we have him prioritized a little bit too much because teams are still thinking, okay, the novelty factor is giving them a bit of an edge. Do you think she's going to stay on that priority level, or do you think she's going to fall or even rise?
I think maybe you are right. She's a little bit higher than she needs to be right now, but I do think she's very, very strong. She's winning pretty much every solo lane, and she controls the fights really well with all of her peeling tools as well as kind of engage tools. The combo makes her very, very deadly in team fights. Yeah, I'm not really sure where she'll end up, but it's still Wibby's girl, so it's kind of embarrassing to see all these fakers try and play his hero. They're all just trying to copy Wibby. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do if you want to be Wibby. So I guess we're just all going to copy his hero as long as he's playing it, but he definitely likes it.
I assume that you guys watched the earlier series here today, and my question would be, what do you actually think about the Sunday match that we have between Fnatic and Method, since that's going to be, of course, one of the games that's definitely going to have an impact on Western Clash positions as well. Where do you see them right now after you've now played Method?
I think it's a very tough call. I think, Fnatic are looking good, but sometimes they have gelling issues, it seems, whereas, Method are they just kind of seem like a shadow of the team they were before, but they're building up to their old level again. I think it will just mostly come down to who plays better on the day. I think both teams have had good and bad games. Both teams have looked really good and really bad at different points. So I think, yeah, it would just be who performs better on the day, but I do think it'll be a very close series.
All right, awesome. Congratulations again to the victory, and yeah, happy to see more of the URL and Viking games that we've seen today.
Now, while we're talking about Sunday, you guys obviously have a match as well, as you'll be facing off against the Monkeys. Are you worried about their organized chaos that they love to bring to their matchups?
I don't know why I'd be worried about a 3-0 against Alex the Pro G. But I mean, I guess if people are concerned about that nowadays, yeah, I'm terrified to walk away with a 3-win against Alex.
Okay.
Yeah, shaking over here.
All right, well, fair enough, Snitch. Well, I look forward to that match on Sunday. I'll let you go and prepare for that. Now, of course, before you go, you have to yell to all the people at home as they want to hear from you.
Well, huge shout out to our fans. Huge shout out to Team Dignitas and our sponsors. Wowie for the Discord. Alex, I'm coming for you, and I'm going to defend Chris by tweeting about it every day for a week. See you on Sunday.
Okay.
Looking forward to that match on Sunday.
First thing that we're going to make sure of is that for the pre-game interview, we're going to get Snitch and Alex.
Yeah, that's going to be perfect. We have to, we have to. All right, Snitch.
He's
Enjoy
still
your
there.
weekend, man. I'll see you on Sunday. He's still there. He's listening on you, Caldor. All right, so let's go ahead and prepare for that big match that will be happening on Sunday. We'll let Snitch and the crew go home and train it up. That'll be a fun one to watch. For context, by the way, if you guys